Damn, Stardust, what the fuck? I don't know what that's all about. That was weird. Did my stream just like completely stop for a second? Why does it suddenly say I've got 0 viewers? Where'd everybody go? My internet didn't crash. It shouldn't have. Should have just been a pause while I changed sources. That was weird. Is everybody still there? I had 8 people. What happened? Looks like everything's fine. Just that's weird. If you're still there, just and you know if things don't look right, just refresh the stream. I guess I don't know what the hell happened. That was weird. All right, some of y'all are coming back in. Okay. I guess I don't know why Stardust exploded with all that information. Why that had anything to do with my why that had I don't know what that had to do with uh me changing sources. All right, let's see if I can find Stranger in Paradise Final Fantasy. Okay, here we go. What's this? It would have been nice if it had been on Xbox Game Pass. All right, here we go. Free edition. There it is. Demo. Here we go. Hi, welcome back. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know how I don't know why I kicked you guys all out of the stream. That's weird. Oh, gotta free up space. I need 17 gigs. Yeah, I'm gonna remove Back for Blood because that game sucks. If I never get around to finishing that, I guess it'll be the one Left 4 Dead game, the Left 4 Dead wannabe game that I never played. All right, well, here's that goes. Now let's see what happens if I change. Now I'm kind of afraid to change sources again. Oh, that was loud. Everything good? Everything okay? Are we still cool, bruh? Looks like we're still good. Okay. All right, that was. I really don't know what happened on the Xbox there. I was making space for Stranger in Paradise, Jody. The demo for Stranger in Paradise is Final Fantasy, but is now available on Xbox. So I want to do. We'll get that downloaded. Yeah, it's going to freeze for a second. I don't know why it locked up so badly just now when I switched over to the Xbox. It's good whenever I change sources because I have multiple sources going to the same box. I use an HDMI switch. Whenever I change sources, it's going to be a brief lockup because that's the way it works. There's nothing that can be done about it. But I don't know why it was so bad when I turned on this Xbox just now. Thanks, Jose. I need to try to remember to do that before I change sources. Just be like, ugh. Okay, I want to come back to the PC for a second because I saw something that I wanted to look at. Let's go back to the live screen here for a second. There it goes. That took a long time to pull back up. That was weird. Close this. This is those of you who may be familiar with familiar with my past. Um, Back in the day, I used to play an MMO, a superhero MMO called City of Heroes. Unfortunately, it went off the air around 2015, I think. The actual servers went down in 2015. Well, I think around 2018, 2019, they finally allowed private servers to be created, and the biggest one is this one here called Homecoming. I have played one episode on stream. I think it was back on Facebook. I can't remember. I wouldn't mind playing it again sometime. But what I do want to do is I want to go in here real quick while the game is downloading, while Stranger of Paradise is downloading. I want to check this out because there's a new power set for the blasters here apparently called Seismic Blast, and that's new. So I want to check it out real quick. So we're gonna play a little City Heroes while we're waiting for Stranger of Paradise to install, and then we're gonna check out Stranger of Paradise. And once that demo is done, we'll probably jump into Horizon Horizon Forbidden West. Believe I'm on Excelsior. Yeah, here's all my characters. I think. Where's my? I think this is my character I was playing on stream. Yeah, appropriately enough, Crimson Dragon, right? I'm curious about the this new Seismic Blast thing. It's an old MMORPG, Paul, but it was really fun back in the day. It very much is like a superhero clone of World of Warcraft, but much more fun to me. Much more fun. Okay, Seismic Blast. You can manipulate earth and stone to defeat your foes. The crushing force of many earth powers can reduce a target's defense. Okay, well, so does Radiation Blast. Being of the earth, you are the most powerful while on the ground. While grounded, your attacks increase seismic pressure. As your seismic shockwave increases, your chance of triggering seismic shock waves increases, and the cooldown of other seismic blast attacks is slightly reduced. These seismic shockwaves will have the chance of knocking down foes while standing on the ground and power some of your attacks. Lock charge will have its area and target cap increased. So they've got an earth blaster, or sort of an earthbender now, I guess. Hmm. Do they have any manipulation? What was the other one? Oh, it was just a seismic blast, wasn't it? Earth manipulation, that was a normal thing. All right, let's look at the powers. Huh, it just puts a rock on them, huh? Okay. Looks like it just fires like a shotgun blast of rocks. That's a buff. Whoa! Okay. So it just creates like a bunch of rocks around it when you punch the ground. Very tank-like. Earth tank-like. This feels a little bit more like a controller ability, like more like controller power set. But it's a blaster power set. It's a big stone. Oh, wow. It literally does summon meteor. You can see the shadow. You can see the shadow. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool effect. If you look at the ground, you can like see the shadow slowly increasing as the rock gets close. That's actually kind of cool. Very Sephiroth like there. Interesting. Huh. What kind of damage are we dealing with here? Like how much power are we talking? Defense 7% defense debuffs. So fly and jump protection, which would be useful against people against more flying enemies, like the well, let's see. There's the freak show that do that. There's the clockwork. Okay, so the damage averages are about the same as any other class. 1025, 1681. 1025, 1517. Okay. Attack type, range, defense, smashing defense. There's the cone attack. $15 AoE. 9.6 magnitude knockdown. Knockdown or knockback, I wonder. Probably knockback. The animation's extremely long, though. I wonder if it does damage over time. Like you saw the little rock, the animation. I wonder if the animation like shows the damage delivered during the attack. So you got the rocks falling, the little rocks falling, and the big one. So like, is it doing damage that entire time? I wonder. It's certainly possible. Looking at these, the damage per cast cycle, 2.05. It's gonna be a single burst. It's gonna be a single blast. 1.82 single blast again. So your DPS is going to be this. The DPS here is very low, 0.24. That's very low DPS. Well, DPS is probably a poor way to put it. Recharge time is 2.5. It's almost 3 minutes. Not 2.5 minutes. Almost 3 minutes. It's a 3-second activation time. Okay, yeah, it's a charge up attack. Activation time 1 second. Activation 1.3. This one's a 2-second activation time. Now this is some kind of sniper attack, clearly. There's a 3.67 activation time. That's slow. That's a sniper. That's a sniper type attack. What is this? Tombstone? Oops. Okay. It doesn't look like a sniper, but it kind of is. Create a giant pillar of stone, creating a tombstone on your target, dealing extreme damage and limiting the ability to jump and fly. This is a sniper attack. Hey, read the instructions, dumbass. It's best fired from a distance as it can be interrupted. If you are engaged in battle, this attack becomes an instant cast. That's interesting. If you are engaged in battle, this attack becomes instant cast. That's new. Is that only for this class, I wonder? For this ability, I wonder? if you're not engaged, it will do bonus damage. So if you're not engaged in a fight, it becomes a charge up attack that can be interrupted. But if you're already in combat, you can use this sniper attack instantly, but without the additional damage. I wonder if that's normal for every sniper attack. Where is it? Blazing Bolt. They did. They changed them all because it used to be that long range sniper attacks were always interruptible. They were always interruptible. And so you couldn't use them once you were already engaged once you were engaged in getting hit back. Which typically the blaster shouldn't be hit very often at all anyway. So I wonder if you says you're engaged in battle. So if you're outside of battle and this is your first attack, you get the bonus damage. But if your team and you are in an actual engagement, it becomes instant cast. So you would have to start. So in order to get the advantage of the additional damage, you would have to always attack from a distance at first. You would always want to attack from a distance at first with this ability. But regardless, that's a change that hasn't been there since the last time I played. Because ranged abilities like the sniper abilities were always interrupted. If you're hit by an AoE by the enemy, it interrupts your sniper, even if you're out of range of the base attack. I like how they changed it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Water doesn't have a sniper. Radiation should. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, you'll be interrupted. That's interesting. All right. I don't know if I'm going to come back to this game anytime soon, but it's nice to see a new ability, a new power set out there. What was the other power set it mentioned? Earth manipulation. Oh, no, Earth manipulation was this one. What I already had. So that's the two new blast powers. I'm going to assume that probably Earth manipulation is also a controller ability as well. Usually, everything in the secondary power set of the blaster is a primary power set for the controller, for the most part. There's a few exceptions. Let's take a look at the secondary abilities. Okay, yeah, that's very controller-like. That comes from the tank class. What exactly does that do? Thank you for feeding Kai, by the way. Jumbo Tato coming with a like. Thank you, Tato. How you doing, Jumbo? Welcome to the show. We're just looking around at some new power sets for CDA Heroes while I'm waiting for Final Fantasy's Stranger of Paradise to demo to install on my Xbox. What was that ability? Powers. Here we go. Salt crystals. Attempts to encrust all nearby foes in a pillar of salt. The victims will remain encased within the salt for quite a while, but will automatically break free if attacked. Affected targets have reduced defense for a while, even if they break free. I was going to say it's a sleep attack. The sleep component of this power is auto hit against regular enemies, but a 2-hit check is required against AVs and players. Big secondary effects apply. So it's essentially a sleep attack, even though it's more of a it appears as a hold, but it counts as a sleep because if you get attacked while you're asleep, you automatically wake up. That's what this stone prison. That's what the salt crystals does. All right. Well, have a good evening then, Jumbo. Hope you sleep well. Tremor is yeah, that's from the tank class as well. That jumping smash ability. Again, this is also from a tank class. It's an AOE movement debuff. So if any enemies pass through that little ring of mud around you, it will slow them down. Which for tanks is very useful. It keeps fleeing enemies from being able to flee very far, so you can chase them down as a tanker. Barrel crystals. Okay, that's another buff. Activating this power summons several rare barrel crystals to orbit around you. These crystals can bring clarity to the mind and increase your accuracy, perception to see hidden foes, and grant resistance to confusion perception to hit. So it's an accuracy buff. So it's pretty similar to other secondary blaster abilities. All right, so nothing super fancy there. Oops. Fracture. Okay, another like tank-like ability. It stomps the ground for some ground damage. You fracture the ground around an enemy, disorienting all affected targets for a good while. Let's put on the ground after its power. Okay, so this is probably not even an attack power. There's probably no damage whatsoever to it. Yeah, there's no damage whatsoever. It's strictly a debuff. It's a defense debuff, and it's a stun. It's about a 10-second stun. Okay. And then another tanker ability. That's another stun. Its massive attack hits with all the force of the earth itself. It deals tremendous amounts of damage and may hold the target if they are not defeated outright. How much massive damage are we talking? 35.6. That's actually pretty good. At average damage 35.6 for a secondary ability, that's very good. That's very good. That's very good for a secondary ability. The demo just showing what the skills are. What are you talking about, Jose? I don't have no idea what the demo is. What the demo is about. I haven't downloaded it yet. It's not done downloading. I don't think it is. It's a 20-second recharge. Holy shit. It's a long time. Although for a secondary attack that does that much damage, 20 seconds actually isn't bad. 20 seconds actually isn't bad for a secondary attack dealing that much damage. Because, for example, let's take a look at the Fire Blast Inferno ability. It's the powerful ability down here. This is the strongest fire ability there is. 67 damage and has a 2.5-minute recharge. I wonder if that was melee only range though, right? On that, that's probably melee range only. Seismic Smash. Yeah, power range 7 feet, but that's 7 feet is melee range. So okay, that's one reason why the recharge is so small. Because with that much damage, if the recharge was 20 seconds, you could spam that at range. But if it's melee range only, no, that's way too short. No, this is CD Heroes, Jose. This is CD Heroes. This is an MMO that I used to play back in the day. That shut down its servers back in 2015, but they finally allowed private servers back in like 2018, 2019, and this is the most popular one called Homecoming. I played this once on stream. I could probably do it again if y'all were interested in watching. It's free to play, but you have to have a PC. I was going to say a powerful PC. No, you really don't. This game was originally came out in like 2008, I believe. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So more 2007, I think, because it closed its doors in 2015. And it lasted 8 years. So yeah, just doing some math on that. So about 2007. So you need I would say a moderately decent computer. You don't need a super powerful one to play this. But I would like to play this with friends at some point because it's actually a pretty good MMO and it's completely free. But yeah, it is PC only. So yeah, no console there. And I was just looking at the. This is a new power set, Jose, for a certain class called the Blaster, the Seismic Blaster. This was new stuff that wasn't in the original game, so I thought I'd just take a look at it. That's why I was here. But if you're, but yeah, I'm really interested in possibly doing that. And there's a number of classes for this game. So many good ones. I mean, there. I would say, okay, definitely love Blaster. I don't like controllers because that's more of a support role, and I'm not a support role. Same with Defender, healing support role, not what I do. Scrapper, decently, not really my favorite, but decent melee class. Tanker, definitely play that. Tanker it describes itself perfectly. A tanker is a tanker. It's the stereotypical MMO, stand in the face of the enemy, get hit a bunch, and beat up everybody a bunch. It's definitely the leader in the fight. You get the Peacebringer and the War Shades. These are shapeshifters. They can shapeshift into these things, which are they have a question marks on their stats here because they're very universal, and depending on how you build them, can actually change those stats in different ways. It also depends on what form you're using. You have your humanoid-looking form, that looks like your regular superhero. Then you have your shape-shifting forms, which is like these alien tendril guys, and the big behemoth things here. Obviously, the tendril guys, the kind of like alien squid things, are more ranged. The big tanker guys like this are more melee ranged, that kind of thing. So all depends on what form you choose to play with, and since you can shapeshift, you can do so in battle and just swap around in between. It's a very universal. And then you've got kind of easily probably my favorite class. That's the Sentinel. Sentinel is the blaster tank combination. You have the range of a blaster, little less damage than a blaster does, but still decent amount of damage. But you also have better survivability because you have the defenses of a tanker. You use the same defensive skills that a tanker has. And then you have a brute, which is like a slightly less strong tanker. They're not as durable as a tanker, but they still have high defense, almost the same level. They do what the brute does, what the tanker can't, and that's deal a lot of damage. The tanker can take a lot of damage, can get hit a lot and survive, but doesn't really dish it out very well. The brute is the opposite end of that. The brute, well, I would say the opposite end of that is a kind of a bit of an antithesis to it. The brute can't take as much damage as a tanker, but the brute can deal a lot more damage than a tanker. The stalker is like a scrapper, but more stealth oriented. The stalker can cloak, and when you make your first attack with the stalker, it will do a massive amount of damage, usually killing almost anything in one shot, save for super hard bosses or very powerful enemies. But pretty much like single target, standard rank and file enemies, the stalker will one shot them every time. Mastermind is a very unique class, which I do love as well. Pet class. Pet-based support class. So take like a defender, a healer class, and be able to throw out pets that deal all your damage. Very powerful pets too. Not quite as powerful as the players themselves, but you can get stronger pets as you level up, and you can be a very, very powerful character. Mostly a healer / support class, because as far as what you do yourself, if you don't use pets, you are going to be strictly a healing support class. But with your pets, you can be just as deadly as any blaster. So very, very good. Choco! Good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? One of the many of the Drip Squad in here. Good to see you. And then you got the Dominator, which is a slightly more powerful version of the controller. A little more damage dealing, but still with the same level of crowd control that the controller can do. I would say the controller is a little better at crowd control than the Dominator is, despite the number being 10 there under crowd control. typically the difference between a controller and a dominator, a controller just controls the battlefield and, debuffs them, holds them in place. That's about it. The dominator does all that plus deals damage while holding them. Their abilities while holding them, constraining them, debuffing them also can deal extra amount of damage, which is definitely different from the controller. A corruptor is kind of blaster defender combination. Thank you, Jose, for feeding Kai. The corruptor can dish out a good amount of damage, but also can cast a lot of healing as well. So it's a balance between the two. Not as powerful as a blaster, not as good of a healer as a defender, but a good hybrid of the two. And then you have the Arachnos Widow and Arachnos Soldier, which have their own uniqueness in their aspects. The Widow is a bit more of a mystic class. Like, very, as you can tell by some of these images, very psychic-based ranged class, whereas the Soldier is a little more upfront, melee ranged, like Soldier, can take a lot of hits up close and can deal it back to them, but still not like tankers of any kind. Kind of a specialist in their own right, with a fair balance of range and melee, but more like mid-range when fighting from a distance. Whereas the blaster can shoot from a pretty far way back. The Arachnos Soldier is more like mid-range range, if you allow me to be a little repetitive there. So, wide range of classes in general in this game, and then you go down to, each of the different classes has a different power set, has massive range of power sets. So if you want a specific type of, if you want to fulfill your dream, so to speak, of being a superhero with any kind of specific abilities that you can think of, very likely you're going to find it in this game, because you can pick any type of class, and then below that you've got a number of secondary abilities and even tertiary abilities that you can do to really just flesh out your character overall. And you can huge, like, wide range of characters. You could have dark powers and have ninja training. I mean, it's just the combination is absolutely almost infinite in what you can do. That's just I'm just looking at the blasters here. And you go to the tankers here, for example, and you've got you've got armor that is bio armor. You can use a shield, like actual, like you could be like Captain America with the big, like vibranium shield. And then if you want to have Captain America's vibranium shield, but you want, say, Thor's hammer, for example. You've got where is it? You get the War Mace right here, which can look just like that. I got to put powers on here. There we go. Hold on, where'd it go? Primary power, shield defense, secondary, War Mace, and then we can go to the powers here and go to weapons, and you can have close to a hammer. I mean, you can, while you're not supposed to make your character look like an actual superhero, like an actual copyrighted trademark superhero, because the mods of this game, since this game is not at all licensed at all by Marvel or DC or any other comic official comics, you can't create a character that looks too similar to a copyrighted trademark superhero. The mods will actually come down on you for that. So while you can make one that kind of looks like it and get away with it, you can't actually duplicate Wolverine or Thor or Iron Man or Superman, whatever. You can't duplicate them perfectly. You're not allowed to. You could like physically do it, but the mods could come down on you about it. But you can have abilities and powers that are like that. So that's pretty cool. Round shield. Darth coming in with a nut with a sub with his 7-month sub. Thank you very much, Darth, for maintaining your status as a Dragon Lord. Greatly appreciate it. I'll probably put like a star on it, maybe. I'm sure somewhere in here is like a star. There we go. There we go. Something like that. There we go. Just kind of a general idea of how you can make your character, you know, you can make characters that look like superheroes, but you don't actually want to do that because they, like I said, the mods of the game can come down on you for it. But just in general, as far as like creating your own superhero, the costume options are virtually infinite with the color combinations, with the appearances that you can make. You know, I can click random here, and I guarantee I can click random 100 times, and you will see 100 different combinations of colors and designs in this game. This is City Heroes, Dark. This is City Heroes. I'm going through this right now while I'm waiting for Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise to install on my Xbox. So there was a new power set that came out with this in this game, and I was just kind of like glancing over to see how it looks. So yeah. So here's some examples of what your character can look like. Here's this. So this you can even, you know, like you can have a lion. It's like just truly completely randomized. You just make your character, you know, so you have like a literal, truly infinite number of costume options. Darth, yeah, it closed down in 2015 and was brought back live in 2019. I want to say 2019 by on private servers. There's like, I want to say there's at least like half a dozen private servers that I'm aware of, but the one I'm on mostly and the one that's most popular is this one here, Homecoming. So just look up, you know, just Google City of Heroes Homecoming, and you got it, and it's free, obviously. They don't update it quite as often as like, you know, NCSoft did when it was originally live, but they do support it and they do update it every now and then. And like I said, they have they do updates for things like new abilities, new classes. Like they have the Sentinel class now, and they also have, you know, new subclasses or new power sets, including Seismic Blast, which, well, the Sentinel doesn't have Seismic. Oh. Sentinel doesn't have Seismic Blast. Okay, well, only the Blaster has that. But, you know, Seismic Blast, which is, you know, basically an Earthbender. And, where'd it go? Earth Manipulation. There we go. Yeah, like that. It's CD Heroes Homecoming, but yeah. I can just, you know, drop it here. It doesn't matter. Just Google City of Heroes Homecoming. Yeah, just Google that. You should be able to find it. Yeah. Please find out for me how long that no build thing lasts, Jose. But I do know it actually exists. I will say I do know that exists. I saw Juggernaut, F7 Juggernaut on. Excuse me. Just going live a few minutes ago. Well, it's probably been about an hour now. And he actually said in the title of his post saying no build. So I know it's a thing because Juggernaut posted it, but I want to know if it's an LTM or not. Always waiting for coming here. Having problems with 2 controllers as well as a 64 emulator. It's been a long time since I've used a 64 emulator. So I couldn't tell you what the best option is, and you know, how to fix any controller issues. Certainly not. I have no idea. It's been way too long, and I've kind of like eased away from emulation since I started doing YouTube and streaming, because I just would really rather play the game on the original consoles, even if some of the consoles are a little bit hard to come by. Which nowadays, if I want an older console like a, you know, I guess like a 64, for example, they're easier to come by, and I can still play them through my HDMI because they have HDMI converters now that you can plug the console into the converter and then plug the other end into an HDMI monitor, and you're good. So yeah, um, I have a PlayStation 2 that I have an HDMI converter for that I haven't actually tested this yet. I think I might be able to plug my PSP into, and if I could use my PSP and stream from my PSP like I would my PS2, I'm gonna play Dissidia. I'm gonna play Dissidia Duodecim on the PSP because I've played just a little bit of that game and I love the hell out of it. So I really want to play Dissidia on stream at some point. The Duodecim. I'm not going to try to stream Dissidia NT because I tried doing NT, and while the story was okay and the gameplay was fine and the visuals were astounding on the PS4, there's summon battles in Dissidia NT that are complicated at best, and I got so frustrated. I don't want to try to play NT again, and I was really disappointed because I was really looking forward to Dissidia NT being good because I liked how I had so many Final Fantasy characters in Dissidia Duodecim, but it was still on a PSP, so they still kind of had that PlayStation 2 PSP kind of look to them. But Dissidia NT looks absolutely incredible. It looks so good seeing Squall and Cloud and Titus and Terra and Warrior of Light and all the Final Fantasy characters in Dissidia in a PlayStation 4 rendering, looking incredible. But the gameplay is just atrocious. Just atrocious. So I hope they eventually come out with like a Dissidia NT2, so to speak, and fix that crap. Because that was just awful. That was just awful. Zombie Rock? What is Zombie Rock? I have no idea what Zombie Rock is. Alright, well, that'll do it. That's